Whether it's at home or on the golf course, Barron Trump loves spending time with his dad, so it's no wonder he's been called Donald's mini-me. From his love of sports to shouting out demands, Barron is like his father in more ways than one. In her 2012 interview with Parenting, Melania Trump said of her husband, "He didn't change diapers, and I am completely fine with that. It is not important to me."
I'm not going to be doing the diapers. I'm not going to be making the food.
But that's not to say that Donald wasn't a doting dad in his own way. Melania also said that he and Barron love to play golf and eat dinner together at Mar-a-Lago, the Trump clan's Florida residence. Golf and dinner, huh? Some might say that sounds a bit more like the closing of a business deal than a loving father-son day. But as Donald told People in 2015, "I've always prided myself on being a good father." On May 16, 2006, when he was just 2 months old, Barron Trump made his TV debut on The Oprah Winfrey Show. Oprah's BFF Gayle King visited Trump Tower on behalf of the show to introduce Barron to the world. For his part, Donald Trump seemed excited to be a father once again. Throughout the show, Donald could be seen holding his youngest son, kissing him on the head, and calling attention to Barron's delicate hands. Melania informed King that Donald was wonderful with Barron. She added that father and son spent time together each morning watching television and reading newspapers. Donald even joked during the interview,
5 weeks old, but we read the papers together.
What might not be immediately obvious about Barron Trump is that he has a creative side. In a 2012 interview with Parenting, Melania revealed this trait about her young son. She even shared a sweet anecdote to illustrate her claim, recalling an especially impressive moment of free play when Barron was young. Melania told the outlet, "His imagination is growing and important. He draws on the walls in his playroom, we can paint it over. One day he was playing bakery and he wrote Barron's Bakery on the wall with crayons. He is very creative. If you say to a child, 'No, no, no,' where does the creativity go?" So it's clear Barron was a very imaginative tyke. Of course, it's fair to reason Barron's free reign over his playroom had something to do with his artistic flair. Not many kids are allowed to draw on their playroom walls, after all.
I let him be who he is. He's my child.
It's no secret Melania thinks Barron takes after his dad, as she has openly stated so on multiple occasions in the past. Interestingly enough, the Trump family's former butler, Tony Senecal, shares her take. Senecal explained that while he has a fondness for all of Donald's 5 kids, Barron is like his famous dad the most. Senecal even told a hilarious anecdote about an interaction he had with the then 2-year-old Barron that reminded him of his father. As Senecal recalled to Inside Edition, Barron said to him,
"Tony, sit down. We need to talk."
If this story is true, maybe Barron will be shouting his dad's famous "You're fired" line one day. Never say never. In September 2019, then-President Donald Trump announced that the U.S. Food and Drug Administration would soon issue what he called some very strong recommendations related to flavored e-cigarette use. The ban followed multiple deaths due to lung diseases thought to be related to vaping, as well as hundreds of reported lung illnesses related to the product. Earlier that week, Melania tweeted, "I am deeply concerned about the growing epidemic of e-cigarette use in our children. We need to do all we can to protect the public from tobacco-related disease and death and prevent e-cigarettes from becoming an on-ramp to nicotine addiction for a generation of youth." During a follow-up press conference, Donald explained that this issue first came to his attention because of the First Lady's involvement. Then, without mentioning Barron by name, Donald referred to his youngest son in a peculiar way, saying,
"She's got a son together that is a beautiful young man, and she feels very, very strongly about it."
This led many ex-users to speculate that Melania caught Barron vaping. Podcaster Ethan Ralph wrote in a tweet, "Barron got caught with the jewel and now we can't have mint pods anymore." There has since been neither confirmation nor denial of Barron's alleged vape use. In 2017, then 11-year-old Barron Trump joined DC United's under-12 team as a midfielder. Apparently, his love of soccer has only grown since then. He's also impressed professionals with his knowledge of the game. When members of DC United paid a visit to the White House in 2017, the team's striker, Patrick Mullins, had a lot to say about Barron's vast interest in the game. Mullins told the Washington Post, "He was very knowledgeable about soccer, knew about DC United, and was interested to know more. Little kid to have a passion for the game and to be knowledgeable and have a conversation with us, it makes me feel good about kids growing up playing the game." In 2018, Melania even revealed that her athletic son was very much into sports. However, one sport Barron will probably never be playing is American football, at least if his father has anything to do with it. The former president told CBS News' Margaret Brennan before the 2019 Super Bowl, "I just don't like the reports that I see coming out having to do with football. The helmets have gotten far better, but it hasn't solved the problem. I've heard NFL players saying they wouldn't let their sons play football, so I would have a hard time with it. Donald Trump is 6'3", so when you see him standing next to Barron, you might be thinking to yourself, wow, this kid is tall. And you'd be right. According to a 2021 report in the New York Post, Barron was already 6'7" at just 15 years old. Somewhat ironically known as Little Donald among family and friends, Barron unfortunately had some jokes made at his expense due to his huge growth spurt. One ex-user wrote, "Barron Trump looks like two kids in a trench coat." Even reporters noticed Barron's height. In January of 2020, CNN's White House correspondent Betsy Klein wrote on X, "Also, did Barron grow half a foot since Thanksgiving?"
My Barron. My tall Barron. He's very tall.
Although Barron's only a teenager, he's long been an uncle to a gang of younger Trumps. Barron first became an uncle at the ripe age of 1. Donald now has a total of 10 grandchildren, all of whom have Uncle Barron to play with. These include Donald Trump Jr.'s 5 children with his ex-wife Vanessa Hayden, and Eric's 2 kids with wife Laura. Barron's also an uncle to Ivanka Trump's 3 children with Jared Kushner. All the kids, especially Ivanka's, seem to love their uncle, Ivanka said in a 2017 Fox & Friends interview. Now with Barron here, they have so much fun together and they are so young. They're really just kids, so they're just enjoying it. They spend a lot of time in the Oval Office with their grandfather, which is a lot of fun for them. In January 2017, Ivanka even shared a since-deleted clip on X where a smiling Barron could be spotted in the background of the Oval Office playing peekaboo with her youngest son, Theodore. She wrote in the post, "My youngest brother proves he's a baby whisperer, while my father signs his first executive orders." In 2016, Barron's health became a topic of conversation when comedian Rosie O'Donnell tweeted, "Barron Trump autistic? If so, what an amazing opportunity to bring to the autism epidemic." O'Donnell's speculation in that now-deleted tweet was based on a YouTube video dubbed "Is Barron Trump Autistic?" O'Donnell, who has feuded with the ex-president for years, denied taking a dig at Barron. Her website contained a poem about her own experiences with her daughter Dakota, who was diagnosed with high-functioning autism, and a suggestion that Barron might have similar symptoms. But Melania was unimpressed. She even hired an attorney to sue the person who made the video if it wasn't removed. O'Donnell later tweeted an apology, stating, "I am sorry for the pain I caused. It was not my intent. I am truly sorry." After the World Health Organization declared a global pandemic back in March 2020, President Trump frequently downplayed the damaging effects of the coronavirus.
Don't let it dominate you. Don't be afraid of it.
Later in October, the president, Melania, and Barron all got infected by COVID-19. In a since-deleted post on the White House website, Melania said she worried about the effects of the virus on her boy, even after his initial test was negative. The First Lady wrote at the time, "I couldn't help but think, what about tomorrow or the next day? My fear came true when he was tested again and it came up positive. Luckily, he is a strong teenager and exhibited no symptoms. In one way, I was glad the 3 of us went through this at the same time so we could take care of one another and spend time together." While the president required far more intense treatment at Walter Reed Hospital, Melania and Barron remained quarantined in the White House. It was there that mother and son took vitamins and stuck to a healthy diet to recover. The president later praised his son for bouncing back from the experience, telling CNN, "I don't even think he knew he had it because they're young and their immune systems are strong and they fight it off 99.9%. And Barron is beautiful and he's free."
Barron Trump. Did you ever hear Barron Trump?
Barron Trump has a thing for sneakers. In 2020, Footwear News reported that the youngest Trump liked New Balance's shoes, writing, "The youngster, now 14, has repeatedly chosen the classic style ever since his father took office." The piece added that Barron also owns a pair of New Balance sneakers that can glow in the dark. Moreover, the teenager owns several of the brand's 574 core line in the colors black, camel suede, navy suede, and gray. Barron has also worn other brands, including Nike, which may not have sat well with his father. If you'll recall, Nike was the subject of controversy in 2018 when Donald Trump berated the shoe company for hiring former NFL quarterback Colin Kaepernick. Kaepernick's kneeling during the national anthem throughout the 2016 NFL season outraged many people, causing some to even boycott the league.
When there's significant change and I feel like that flag represents what it's supposed to represent, I'll stand.
During one of Trump's Nike attacks, however, a shot revealed his son wearing a pair of the company's sneakers. Of all his siblings, Barron is closest to his sister, Tiffany. For openers, Tiffany currently lives in West Palm Beach, a relative stone's throw away from Barron's Mar-a-Lago residence. Tiffany is also younger than Barron's older siblings, Don Jr., Eric, and Ivanka, which likely makes her more relatable to Barron. It also helped that Tiffany attended Washington, D.C.'s Georgetown University and made time to hang with Barron when the Trumps were living in the White House. She also makes a point of sending Barron annual birthday messages, including one touching Instagram post in 2020 that read, Happy 14th birthday to the best little brother I could ever ask for. You mean so much to me, Barron. I wish you all the happiness in the world. Love you.